Hi folks, today we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to build this, the Google Voice Kit, and it just arrived. And the reason I ordered it is because I have the older version. This is version 2. There is a version 1. Problem with version 1, it doesn't work anymore. Google changed some of the API and I'm too lazy to figure out how to upgrade it. And you'll find out there's a lot to set it up. Unfortunately, it's a fun little thing. There's some cool stuff that goes on with it. But what's good about this one is that I think they've gone to the Pi 0, which is what is inside, and that can actually be useful to simplify maybe some of the building of, because it gets a little complicated. So I want to build that and see if it works better than this. The difference between this and the new one is this has the older Pi. It's a big thing, takes up a lot of space. This one uses the Pi 0, I believe, so let's see if it can help out. I actually have not built this yet. But the reason why it's important is what's inside this is actually inside BMO, specifically for, what time is it? That is pretty cool. What's going on here is actually the Google speech-to-text API. Google has a ton of APIs, by the way. This is the speech-to-text API that I'm using here, which is different than the Google Voice Assistant API, which is probably what's in here and a little more familiar. That's when you say, hey Google, do XYZ, and then it does things. So your voice goes off to the server. It interprets it and gives you an intelligent response back to whatever device you're using. In this case, it's a speaker, and it'll tell you the weather and play a song and stuff like that, which is kind of neat. However, with speech-to-text API, it just goes to the server, gets turned into a string and sent back, in which case BMO is doing some pattern matching magic to deal with that situation. So let's see what we got going here. I'm going to put BMO aside here for a second. Sorry, BMO, you're not the star anymore. Let's see what we got in here. It's a neat box. This is cool. Reminds me of those old electronic kits, the like 80-in-1 things. I don't know if they still make those, but they were kind of cool. This is our cardboard box. It looks smaller than previous box. Could it be smaller than previous box? Slightly smaller than previous box. That might be kind of cool. So this is the casing. Here's a Normo speaker. BMO that I build, full size, uses these Normo speakers, and these are really good. They sound good, but little handheld BMO uses these smaller speakers, but these sound really good. The magic push button looks like it's white this time. It goes on top. There it is. Now this is the important part. This is where all the magic happens, and this is kind of what you might be able to get by with. I build my own, and the difference between Google's and mine is the following. Mine is a servo controller. I don't think theirs does. We have the same amplifier and microphone, so that's where some of the benefit comes from. There's a USB hub built in. I believe the instructions on this are going to tell you to plug in your own USB hub, and that's not that convenient, right? This also has some convenient headers to get to the front panel buttons. There are probably ways to fake that using this. It's a little tricky, but I think if this turns out to be too complicated to get made for people, then this might be a good way to go. Let's try it out though and see how everything works out. Got a bunch of wiring, and that's a lot of that going inside BMO. This says micro USB cable, so this is our power. I don't really need another one of these, and I really can't even get it out of here. There we go. The Pi Zero, I have these coming out of my ears. They're a little hard to get these days, but hopefully you can find them. And is this the instructions? It's not going to tell me to go to the website to do it, is it? Voice Kit is an accessory intended to be used with Raspberry Pi Zero, blah, 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 blah. Recommended instructions. I gotta go to the web. See, the previous version gave you this thick book. And I kind of wanted to show it to you. I'm going to show it to you. Where is thick book? This is the original one. And it got some cool pictures in it. The problem I was trying to illustrate here is you get all the way into this thing and it says how to set up your Google Cloud platform. Well, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pages of instructions just to get the thing to install your credentials. These things don't work right out of the box. You have to go to Google, sign up for an account, get actual credentials that you then load on here for it to work. Not a big deal, but there's a lot of steps involved, and even I get confused doing it. Make that a little bit easier, please go. But let's see what we can do here. Now I probably got to get my iPad and go to AIY projects with GoogleVoice.com. I'm going to get my iPad. Alright, I'm back on my iPad. Got my Voice Kit do-it-yourself intelligent speaker. Experiment with voice recognition and the Google Assistant. Well, we are going to experiment. How do I set it up, guys? You said go here. Build your kit. Boom. Kit requires a special version of the Raspbian operating system that includes some extra AIY software. That part annoys me. I don't like special versions of Raspbian software. I prefer a vanilla version that I can build on top of. Sort of what I did with BMO. Took a vanilla version, sort of took a few things and got it to work. Because you can code your own AIY, but programs, but it's a little complicated. Let's just see how we go. It comes with a SD card. I don't know if that is already flashed or not. If not, I already went ahead and flashed one, but we'll find out later. Download the latest. Oh, you got to flash your own. Well, I've already done that. So skip to the fold the internal frame. This is the internal frame, and fold along the long flap. Long flap folded. Fold the left and right flaps inward. Whoa, whoa, I did not hit that. I did not do that, folks. You did not see that. Why did we go so far down? Okay, it's looking similar, and then it locks into these tabs here. If you do it right, it locks into these tabs here. Ta-da! I think. Insert notches. Check frame alignment. Look at the bottom of your frame. The slit closer to the edge should be on the left. Mine is not. What have I done wrong? So I was supposed to do this. Right, Google? check frame alignment. Look at the bottom of your frame, and the slit closer to the edge should be on the left. Closer to that. Like that. If yours looks different, you probably folded it wrong. I think you definitely folded it wrong. And then they show it sitting like this. Set the frame aside. Done. Done, done, done. Gather your boards and your speaker. Well, the side's going to go over here. Boards. Pi. Do I need to open another Pi? I got Pi 0 sitting right here, right? Yeah, I'm just going to stick with that for now. I open that one up. Now it's time to connect all the electrical hardware and gather your Pi, your voice bonnet, standoffs, and speaker. Okay, orient your Pi. Pi should be in that orientation. Insert the standoffs. That's what these little plastic things are. I prefer threaded ones, but these work too. Connect the boards. Yeah, I figured that was coming up. I think you all know how to connect the Raspberry. What was that? Oh. I was doing another video showing some other options to do this. Connect the boards. Check your connections. All right. Checking it just like they're doing here. Make sure the standoffs have snapped into the boards. They are. Failure to securely seat the bonnet may cause electrical shock. I don't know how to failure to properly seat it would cause that problem, but I will believe them. Make sure it's seated. No shocks at all. Grab your 2mm screwdriver. Loosen the 2 bottom screws of the screw terminal. Insert your speaker wire. I was not prepared to bust out a tiny screwdriver, folks. However, I do have a bunch of them laying around. However, I don't know if it's a 2mm. It is a 2mm. Okay, loosen they are. Insert the speaker wires. And find the red and black wires attached to it. Insert the red wire into the bottom. So these come conveniently stripped for you. I don't know if they're tin, but there's some pretty robust wires on this thing. Gotta say, those are some heavy-duty wires. And then crank it down. Anytime you do a header, give it a tug. Make sure it's in. Secure the wires. I did that. Add boards to the frame. Frame comes back into the picture. And this thing just slides on into that slot, apparently. Okay. Got to avoid some resistors and things as this goes in, or it won't slide all the way back, apparently. That's in. Check board alignment. Let's just do that again because I screwed that up the first time, didn't I? The microphones on the left and right edge of the board, which are circled in white in this diagram, should be outside the internal frame. So the microphones, and you probably can't see them, these little black things, and they're on the outside. And the difference between this and my BMO, this uses stereo microphones. I use a mono. I'm just trying to get as much space saved as possible, but this is actually a stereo mic. Insert said speaker. So speaker goes into this little cutout slot, so you gotta make sure when you do that that the wire's up top. Otherwise it won't slide in. This back flap thing here is not, the tabs on it are not that aggressive at holding this together. I think it's not that big a deal once you get it in, but that's just not gonna, once that speaker's in there, it wants to push them out, huh? Yeah, because the speaker's pushing against. I'm not too worried about that. Check the speaker is secure. Well, it's secure, but it pushes the cardboard out. Open the speaker box. I'm pretty sure that'll stay once it's in the box. Fold flap A. This is flap A. Down into the box. Then B and C, which are these side flaps here. And then finally D, which I imagine tucks in. Like that. Box. Slide the internal frame inside. The internal frame, which will not stay in its little slots because the jumbo speakers keeps pushing it out. I think it goes down like this. In we go, folks. Yeah, and this is just going to be problematic. Bend that out a little bit then. Cool. There's a bunch of little slots that line up with all the internals, so you'll know when you got it. And I believe I got it. Yippee. Yours looks different? I don't think so. Check the connectors, which I just did without having been told. Add the button. Yes, the button. The button's coming. Put the button through the front. Imagine. Orient the button on the other side. Orient the button so that the side with the 4 prongs is on the top. Assuming that is the top. Screw on the button. Plug in your wires. So there's a little diagram showing where all the wires go. They're color coded, so we'll start with the blue. It goes blue here, and the green is next to it. On there. Then gray goes right underneath the blue. Looks like they got some silicone separators to prevent it getting shorted. And the black one goes underneath the green one. Now the red goes underneath the blue and gray. And then finally, I'm assuming the orange is the last one that's open. Yay. Check the wires. Alright, red, orange, gray, black, blue, green. Checked. Find the 8-pin connector on the voice spine. I'm assuming that's that. Unkeyed connector. Coming up, folks. That's not good. First one, with the speaker facing away from you. Now it's facing you. Plug the black wire into the top right slot. This is like really bad idea. I like to use keyed connectors for a reason, folks. Someone out there is going to do it wrong. Double check, make sure it's correct. Alright, speaker facing away from me, black connectors on the top right. I think I did it right. Fold the top flap inward. Well, it doesn't say to hide these wires, but you should do a little work here to make sure that these get tucked away. And then just fold it inwards. And I thought putting BMO Boy together was a little bit scrunchy, but this one's got the same problem. There's a lot of stuff you cram inside here, and it feels like it wants to. Insert the SD card. Well, let me get the SD card I flashed. I already pre-flashed one. I'm assuming it's the right software. SD card goes in right there. It's nice cutouts for everything. Congrats, you've assembled your voice kit hardware. That's it. I'm done, apparently. I've done it, but it's not doing anything useful. Connect your kit. Alright. So there are two ways to connect your kit to the Wi-Fi and get an IP address depending on what you have available. There are two options for connecting. Explain to meet your kit. Where is this meet your kit? Time required to build 1.5 hours. I don't think that took me 1.5 hours. If you consider that building and not configuring. It'll take you 1.5 hours to configure the software, yes. Alright, we're back. You're probably asking where I went. I went to finish installing stuff on this. The basic software install of the operating system doesn't include your credentials, which are what allow you to use the Google API. And that takes about 1.5 hours to set up. Unfortunately, it's just a process. But once it's done, it's done. So we're working now. What time is it?
It's 10:28 a.m.
Okay. What's 2 plus 2?
The answer is 4.
How many fingers am I holding up?
14. Wait, that can't be right.
Well, it could be, but as you can see, it got a sense of humor too. And that's it. This is the cool little kit. A couple of things. When I was working on it, I noticed that this button header that plugs in was a little loose. It's hard to tell at first, but this was not registering and turning on the light. So you really got to push that header down in there. Unfortunately, you're pushing against cardboard, you tend to not want to do it, but you got to really push hard. Also, I stuck a little battery inside here. So this thing is now battery operated. They expect you to plug it into the wall or maybe in one of these USB packs. I didn't want to carry this around, it's not convenient. So in the back you can kind of see the wire coming out and going back in. I actually stuck a small little lithium polymer battery in there with a power module. It'll fit, and what it does is it allows me to have a battery operated system similar to BMO. And in the next episode we will compare these two voice assistants. So we'll find out which one makes the better voice assistant, but for now that's what goes into the Google Cardboard assistant, and we will tackle what goes into the BMO assistant next time. Say goodbye.
Bye for now. Hope you and your loved ones are safe and healthy.
That's very nice. We'll see you next time.